I don't know what I'm doing. First time using my iPhone to make a video. So I'm going to zoom in on my little area here. Let's hope this works. Hi everybody, it's Rita from Jumari's Scrap Shack. I thought I would show how I make these cute little, I call them little bits. I heard someone today call it, what'd she call it? A runt. That was Joyce, but because she's making them a little bit bigger than this and she uses them as a keychain. Well, these are not very big at all. These are only, this one is actually about, I got the wrong side of it, 2 inches maybe wide and 2 inches tall. The book itself is almost 2 inches wide. This one's about 1.5 inches thick. So yeah, that's what I call them. And this one has 5 signatures in it. This one's gonna have 5 signatures in it. Anyway, I was trying to show a friend in Missouri how to make them today. I took another piece of the snippet that Sue made me. Let me see what you can see when I'm this far down. Yeah, not that great, huh? Anyway, I took a piece of snippet and I sewed a piece of scrapbook paper to the inside of it to make the cover. And I started sewing in my signatures. And I was showing her, whatever your cover is, fold it in half. And the very first crease gets the first signature, okay? That gets the first signature that you sew in, and it's right in the middle. It's the easiest way to know where to put it. And I do a 3-hole pamphlet stitch, you know, to sew it in. And I leave the strings fairly long. It's probably like 4 inches or so. Let me see. Maybe 5 inches. Because I like to sew on bells to them so that they dangle. But you don't have to do that. You can just, you know, glue something to it or just tie it in a bow and leave it. You don't even have to do that. So anyway, and on the second one that you sew in, I put the signature all the way to the right side of the book, you know, so that when it closes, you have a space right here for the third signature. And then you do the same thing on this side. You take your signature, fold it in half, and put it all the way to the end of this side to the left. And this is where you would sew it in for that third signature. See how I've got 1, 2, 3? And see how it leaves so much space between the two, or between the, you know, each one. You put one more signature here, and you sew in one more signature here. And when you close your book, it's nice and thick, you know, and the pages won't be beyond the cover, and there's no measuring. So I was kind of showing her that. So right now, I've already did the first one in the middle and the second one over here at this side. And right now I'm going to do this one. Well, because it's this green color, I wanted it between these two. So I'm not going to go ahead and put it here. I'm actually going to sew it in between here. Yeah, because that's where I want that one. Okay? So yeah, that's part of that. And then I was also showing her that when I do my strips, I use so many scraps, a lot of scraps. You know, this kind of paper, coffee stained paper. What all do I have in this little pile here? Oh, I think I moved my pile. But in one of them, I used a digital that was a postcard, a small postcard, and I cut this down 2 inches tall by 3 inches wide, and that was one of the covers I used for one of the signatures. Because I like to put some color in it, but most of it is just scrap paper, like scrap pieces of coffee stained paper or what have you. And I'm not good at tutorials, but I thought I would kind of show this the best I could. So that's where I'm at. This was a snippet that Sue had made me. And this piece right here is 2 inches tall by 4.5 inches long. So that's how I made the cover. And then that first signature, I just put it in the middle and I folded it in half so I knew right where the crease should go. And I did a 3-hole pamphlet stitch right there where the strings are on the inside. And then the second one I put the signature all the way to the right, opened it up, and I held it together like this with 2 little paper clips. And then I did the 3-hole pamphlet stitch there. So that made the second one. And now this is the number 3 I'm going to put in the middle of the 2. So I'm going to put this right in the middle. I'm just eyeballing it so I don't have to measure, but I want it nice and straight. I want to make sure my pages are not upside down or has anything like numbers. I don't want the numbers to be upside down. So I'm looking because I think there was numbers in this one. Maybe not. No, this one's pretty plain. So this one's going to go right there in the between these 2. That'll be the 3rd signature. So I'm just going to eyeball putting it in the middle here. Sometimes it's easier just to go like that where you can see the 10 pieces of paper. I just sewed right down the middle on the sewing machine. And that shows me where the center of the signature is. And I'm just going to eyeball it. Can you see that? I'm putting that right in the middle. And then I'm going to pull it up. And then I'll hold these in place with these clips right here. Oopsie. I got some big ones. And I'm just going to pinch that right there to hold it in place. And then I'm going to take my pokey tool and I'll poke a hole all the way. I'm just eyeballing it, but I'm going to go down the middle, right down the middle of that crease. And I got my fingers on each side, so it went all the way through to the back side of the cover. Can you see that? That's hole number 1. And then I usually go about 1/4 of an inch in on either side to put the other 2 holes. This is holding it nice and tight, so I'm going to go ahead and go 1, and I'll probably do this 3rd one right there. 2. That's all I do. There's my holes. I always put it there until I get my needle ready. I like to use a needle that has a pretty big eye on it so that the thread fits through. And it doesn't have to have a point, but if you don't have something to poke your holes and you're going to do it with your needle, you definitely want a point on your needle. So I'm going to take about, let me see, where's my string? I've got it up here. Everyone always asks what's my favorite to sew my signature signatures in. And I love this Baroque 100% crochet cotton. And I always get it when it's on sale at Michael's because this is just the right strength. I feel like I love it. So that's my favorite. And I always get this color, but you can get it white. You can get it in a couple of other colors, I think. And I usually just go 3 times the width of the whole book. And that's enough to sew in the signature. So let me thread this real quick, see if I can do it. I don't even have my glasses on, but this needle, the eye on this needle is pretty big, so that wasn't too hard. And this is how I do it. I'm going to go down the middle hole all the way through to the back side. I'm going to hold my finger on that and let it hang down about 4 or 5 inches probably. And I'm going to go down, let's see, where I poked the hole. I'm still on the inside, but what I'm doing is I'm just marking my hole so I know where to go down from this side. I kind of keep my eye on it, and then I can come up through it. I have to redo that. This is just my, see where I put my finger there? I'm gonna put my needle right there so it'll come back up through the top. Okay, and then I'm gonna pull it off the needle. I do that a lot. Trying to show you and do this at the same time. I'm kind of clumsy. It's okay. So come up. I'm going to pass the middle and go down the top hole. And then on this side, we're going to go right back in that same hole that we made the first hole, I mean. So when you come up it, you want to be on the right side of the thread and hold this over to your left so that when you tie the knot, it goes around that middle string. Just like that. I just go ahead and pull it off the thread, or off the needle, I mean. and I hold the two pieces. If they're uneven, you can always like pull up on that middle thread and get a little bit of, pull it to where they're even. That's how I do it. And now I'm just going to tie a knot 3 times, left over right, and then right over left. I like to do it 2 different ways so it makes a knot. Left over right again, and I usually do about three knots, and then this hangs down and it leaves you a place to put your bells, or you know, whatever you want to do with those. You could always just tie a little bow. It'd be really super cute. So now on this one I have 3 signatures, and this one's in the middle, this is to the right, I have 2, and then now on this side I have room for the one that's going to fit right up against this edge, and then it'll have a space right here, so I put the 5th one right there. Then it'll have 5. So right now it looks like it's uneven, but when you get those other ones in, it'll bring it out to here, and the book will be just perfectly lined up. Okay, and yeah, so I only had 3 ready. I got to go ahead and make some more signatures, and I'll be back. Just a little update. Thanks for watching, everybody.